Hello everyone, my name is Amanda Henley and I'm going to give you an oral presentation on Judith Sargent Murray's On the Equality of Sexes. That was actually published in 1790 in the Massachusetts Magazine. She was an early feminist in the early 18th century who was the first ever female to have any paper publicly published raising awareness and claiming gender inequality. What is gender inequality? It's exactly what it says it is. It is when a male and a female is in comparison to one another that they are not treated equal. So for us to understand her drive and motivation behind writing this essay, I'd like to take us back a little bit back to her childhood. Judith grew up in a very wealthy home. She was afforded many opportunities, much more so than the average person. Her family home had tens of thousands of books in their library, which she used to educate herself on certain topics, also to help articulate her writing skills and expand her vocabulary, and to actually help better fine-tune herself as a writer. She grew up with a brother that was very close in age, and as they got older, she started to see her brother to be afforded opportunities that she was not. He was studying to go to Harvard University, and it's this point in time in her life where she really sat and wondered and started to question the facts that there were some gender inequality issues in society. She didn't understand why she couldn't go and seek out a higher education like her brother was doing, only simply because she was a female. She was very close with her father as well. He introduced her to Universalism. This group wanted us all to be free from any kind of ties to the church, where back then, before Universalism came about, you were tied to a church. You were expected to be part of a church and monies to go to the church. This group spoke up, was in disagreement of that. Judith actually wrote several papers in support of the Universalism movement, which they took to the Supreme Court in Massachusetts and challenged the thought of universalism and the freedom of religion, and they won their ruling. This had a widespread effect nationally and across America at that point in time. Now today, we do have that right to religious freedom. So if you have not read Judith's On the Equality of Sexes in our textbook, I encourage you to do so. It's very informative. She does interject much wit and humor into it. It was a very enjoyable read. So Judith raised issues about education and knowledge, gender inequality regarding domestication of females, lack of opportunities, differences in gender equality and treatment. So education. Women were not allowed to go seek out a higher education and enroll themselves into a university or do any of those things. They were very domesticated. They were taught how to sew, cook, clean, take care of the family, take care of the household. We can even see this even as I was growing up 35 years ago. Many more moms were stay-at-home moms. That was just the way it is. Now, because our economy has changed and demands have gotten bigger, it has caused women to go out into the workplace and actually work as well and help bring in an income for a family. So we have seen those changes a lot due to the fact of the change in our economy and supply and demand. Lack of opportunities. She wasn't able to do a lot of things. She would never be able to go to the military. She would never be able to do anything that was not deemed ladylike or what would be considered a woman's duty. So there were a lot of differences. Differences in gender equality and treatment. We even see that today. If you are going to a little boy's birthday party, you're going to buy him something blue and something green and trucks and balls. If they're old enough, maybe a BB gun. If you're shopping for a girl, you're going to buy her pink and purple and bows and Barbie dolls and jewelry, leave press-on nails. So you can tell that there is a difference in how we treat genders as a whole. That's very important. The one thing I would like to question you guys is that do we need this gender difference to balance out our society? I've always joked that if men had to have children, we would be a dying race. They would get together, right? And they would talk about what happened to their body and the crazy things that they would have to go through and how they would feel horrible for 9 months. And, you know, we are all chemically built different. Females are chemically built different than men. And I would just say that it would be a very boring place if we were all programmed to think and feel and maintain the same roles as the same person. Our world would be very plain. So I would like to have you ask yourself that question and see if you think that this inequality still exists. And if it does, don't you think we need this to balance our society out? I appreciate very much for you viewing my presentation. I encourage you again to read her text. It was very enjoyable, and I thank you very much for your time. Have a great day.